clearing out my Horde. I had a electric fireplace that was sitting there that I never used, and I had another one in the office. The other electric fireplace sat under that table. I bought them 8 years ago when I went solar, and I'm now sorting and going through stuff. Mostly all electronics. There's a lot of vintage stuff in there. Like there's a vintage Sony CD player, the first model they came out with, CD Walkman. There's a bunch of song cards, video cards. Lots of it's going to go to the garbage. Keyboards galore. I got to figure out the which Logitech, like the wireless part, which I got to find those. Some of these are probably just sticky keys. I spilled a drink and just went ahead and bought a new one, just like I did a month ago. An emergency keyboard in case things go wrong. Keyboard and mouse. So, not bad actually. This is it. I can still move around. There's 2 sound bars I got to get to. There's one of the sound bars there. Find the power packs. Those are going to be put up probably next week for sale for cheap. I bought 3 of them all at once, and they weren't cheap. They were between $300 and $400. One of them was for my camper. Sold the camper, took the sound bar out. One of them was for my work truck. That crashed a couple days, got in an accident, and the van was written off. Another one on the wall in the bedroom. I should probably sell that. I haven't turned on that TV in probably 5 years. This is my Horde. I used to have these cupboards packed. You'd open a door and something would fall out. I'd say that looks pretty good. This is all my batteries. They're staying in the house. They're staying right where they are. There's an SLR single lens reflector camera and a 300 millimeter. That's old school. Pentax 300 millimeter zoom lens. I think that's the box for my phone. There's my iPhone 4 and iPod. The iPod is darn near vintage now. Both those are vintage. That's an iPhone 4 and iPod, I think is what they call them. That's the old lady's Horde. The only thing on this dresser that's mine is this Bose speaker and this Bose unit here. Probably going to keep that. It's not about the money. I'm just trying to make space in the house. And I'm claiming my stake of that territory with that Bose. That's the old lady's Horde. It's all clothes. I don't have a stitch in there. We fight a lot about this. And that's the old lady's shoe Horde. And she's got about 80% of this right down to the floor as well. This is my jackets from here to that way. And some old work clothes. That's it. And a pair of boots over here. 2 pairs of old work boots. Those ones were brand new. I got them just before I retired. Best boot I ever had. Here's my yard. No junk anywhere in my yard. That's my retirement chair there. There's a couple of ladders and a wheelbarrow under the deck, and that's it. This is my nice heated garage. Made a lot of progress in here in the last week. This Horde here was spilling out of the shelves onto the floor, and it came up to about here. And all there was a little path. This is my stuff. That's the old lady's. Those 2 middle shelves. The CD player I gave to my kid a couple of months ago. I'm waiting for him to pick it up, and he gets the CDs too. I sold about $700 worth of stuff. And I've thrown away a lot of stuff. Today, I turned on the heater today. This is tipped over from my bolt can because I was looking for nuts and bolts when I was building my solar rack. Keeping the snowblower. Normally these 4 boxes go in the attic. It's Christmas and Halloween decorations, and there's a bunch over there. I just didn't bother putting them. I don't like going up there. So I'm making shelf room. This was loaded with electronics. I got rid of the Phase Linear 400, which sat right here for years. That's my 8mm Sony Handycam. And I got a bite on someone wanting to buy this. It's a DVD recorder for converting your 8mm or VHS tapes into a DVD. And I used it. God, that's going on, 10, 15 years ago, I think, that I bought that. I can't remember. A pair of binoculars there. I'm keeping that. That subwoofer where that air compressor's sitting, that subwoofer's got to go. It's a kid's toy. I used to use it in the minivan and take it out and set it up for audio system when we were camping. Spare solar panel. I got to get that out of there. Get a picture of that. That's going. I sold, this is what I kept from the copper. I had a Tupperware tote, the size of that brown one there. And it was sort of kind of about 3/4 full. It was really heavy. All the copper I had weighed 110 pounds. And what I took out is about 15, 20 pounds worth. And the guy gave me $75 for it. He used, and he forgot his knife here. He used his knife to cut the end open to see if it was bright copper or solid copper, number 2 grade, number 3 grade sort of thing. Did well. This tote here, this is all the electronics that came out of that cupboard I was just showing you. A pair of VR glasses, never opened. I went to Visions to buy something else and I walked out with that. Then I read the box. You need an app for it. And I'm not going to fall for that shit. I got a little box of 45 records. I'm going to post those as vintage. I got to dig that out. I've had those since the 70s. Obviously, the VH tapes are from the 80s and 90s. I want to get rid of all that. There's the other microinverter. That's going to be sold with that solar panel. And I'll make a package deal. Christmas lights, Christmas lights. If I start organizing this, that's a weed bar. If I start organizing this, I can get everything off the floor easily and have a clean bench. That's my tool thing there. I got most of my tools are gathered up and sorted. That's all screwdrivers. A couple of nut drivers ended up in there, and they're not supposed to be. I have a nut driver selection somewhere. These are all, as you see, cutters, vice grips, pliers, sockets. Not bad. So that red one up here, that nut driver might go in there. Not sure. There's spare nut drivers. That spare one's supposed to be, if it is a spare. It's bugging my OCD. That's supposed to be there. I threw away a lot of tools. And just before I retired, I gave away almost every tool that belonged to me. I gave them to my co-worker that I used to work with. Like adjustable wrenches and whatnot. This is it. All of my tools. And some of my roommates are in here too. Are right there. And I know it's in what drawer. I gotta clear that out a bit and get this screwdriver kit to fit in there somehow. And these gotta be sorted as well. Over here is all your caustic things. See, that's just it. To open a cupboard, I don't want to have to move a ladder. That ladder's got to have a home somewhere. This stinks. I sold a $10 a Coleman lantern for $10, and right after the guy left, I remembered I had a full liter of it. I called him, and he didn't feel like coming back. He said he was already 5 kilometers out of town, but he said he would stop by someday and grab it from me. About 14 years ago, I had a leaky rear end on my 1994 GMC Safari, and it just stopped leaking. So I didn't bother ever checking the fluid to see if it needed more. I just got panicked when I saw a few drips on the floor, and then it stopped leaking. I gotta check out what kinds of caulking those are in the back there before I buy anything more. And there's another tube here. Yeah, I'm going to sort that so the caulking's all in one spot and easy to spot. Caulking is something you're always buying when you own a home. And there you have it. And I'll show you why you need caulking. You see that roof? I get high winds here. And I nailed that entire edge and the bottom edge directly through the shingle into the fascia board so that the winds didn't catch them and lift them. But every few years, you got to go up there and put a dab of tar on them. If it does leak through the nail, it's not going to leak into the house. It'll leak into the fascia board and eventually rot that out. See my chimney on the roof? I finally capped that off because I was getting a draft. I have high efficiency now, so nothing that's not used for anything, the exhaust. And I was getting frost buildup in there in the wintertime, and then it would drip into the basement. And it's definitely from inside the pipe because I shined a flashlight up into it. So I figured the air was going in there, and a little bit of warm space was causing it moisture to get into it somehow. I'm not sure, but I hope that fixed it. If not, that's coming right off next year. And that's it, guys. The heater just kicked in. You can hear it. There you go, there's the blower. 20 Celsius in here and 5 Celsius outside. Show you one more thing, just for proof. These are spare boards from my deck, and they're going over here. Gonna make a dump run. These 2 boards are going in that truck as well. We're gonna make a dump run. That's nice lumber, that's brand new, but if I ever need a board, I'll just go buy a new one. You don't save money by hoarding. There you go, one more here. There you go, this is spare synthetic deck when I built my deck in 2015. I don't know why I kept them. They were in the garage. Life's good.